As you listen to these monologues, one thing I want to encourage you to be is to be a well-rounded person. I'm hoping that you, the listener, you, the subscriber, that you're not the type of person that's just addicted to football. When I say football, I'm talking about traditional football, soccer, that you don't seek information outside of this sport, that you don't read newspapers, that you don't listen to different media outlets. Now, I know some people, some of you may be the person where you say, oh, you don't trust the media because the media lies too much and the media is full of BS and the media is paid off by real wealthy people. And that is a legitimate reason to not want to read any newspapers, to not want to listen to any media outlets. That is a legitimate reason. Well, let me tell you something. There are some media companies, there are some media outlets, some media platforms that is on a comeback. There are some media platforms that are evolving and they're reviving, they're resurrecting their image. During the 2020 pandemic, there was a lot of businesses that went back to the drawing board. With these lockdowns going on and people not being able to travel as much as they once did, there are some wise leaders and some wise businesses that went back to the drawing board and rethought everything about their business model, how they report news, how they get the information, how quickly they deliver the information, how accurate and credible the information that they're providing to the people. There were some wise businesses that did that during the pandemic. And ever since we've been slowly but surely coming out of the pandemic, I've been seeing the change. I've been seeing the evolution. And one of those companies are the New York Times. If you have not subscribed to the New York Times yet, I encourage you to do so. I believe it's like $4 every 4 weeks, like starting off, and then eventually the price will go up a little more. I'm not really sure, but the New York Times is worth every penny. Like during the Donald Trump administration, during the Donald Trump era, I personally lost trust in a lot of media outlets. Not because I believe that Donald Trump should have beaten Joe Biden. It's just how the media was reporting the news. It was just a lot of BS. It was just a lot of BS. It's like they made it just seemed like all the media companies got together and it was just like a vendetta to try to get Trump out of office by any means necessary. And they were just ignoring more important issues and more important things that was going on in the world. It was just like every day they're just feeding us with so much information about Trump this, Trump that. You just got tired of it. And that's why I started to tune out media outlets, all of them. I just lost trust in all of them. And none of them were really credible to me. But ever since the 2020 lockdowns, and we've been slowly but surely coming out of the pandemic, I have seen a change. And the two media outlets that have been trustworthy the most to me so far, the ones that I've seen change and evolve and revive their image and resurrect their whole business model and their way of doing things, are the New York Times and Vice News. Now, I don't believe that Vice News has its own main platform like New York Times do. I don't think Vice News has that. Most of their information is provided through YouTube, but they're still credible. Before the Haiti president was assassinated or murdered, whichever it is, before the Haiti president was killed. A couple months before, Vice News basically gave us information of what was going on. And Vice News was the one that talked to him like a couple months before the massacre happened. And it was through Vice News where I started to learn more about Haiti. And it's because of Vice News that's when I started paying more attention to the football team that recently won the Concacaf Club Championship for the second straight year. Now, earlier this year, a few monologues ago, when I started talking about the crisis with the Inter Miami CF organization, I was basically talking about the diversity in Miami and how they have a multitude of nationalities, a multitude of different cultures, different races. And I talked about how the people in general are ready to support them. And one in particular, I talked about the Caribbeans, how the Caribbeans are ready to support them. Also, when I was talking about the Seattle Sounders during their CONCACAF championship run, I made a statement how the Mexicans, they're great at football. And I also made a comment how the Caribbeans, they're good at football. And a few times throughout the comment section, people were saying that the Caribbeans are not really into football. They're really alluding to an idea that the Caribbeans are not really into football. But guess what? During this 2022 CONCACAF Caribbean Club Championship tournament, I didn't see that. I didn't see a group of people who were not into football. I didn't see a group of people who were not giving any effort and a group of people who looked disinterested. I saw the total opposite. I saw a group of people who was giving full effort. I saw a group of people who was showing emotion. And when I say emotion, good emotion. Like when they make a mistake, they get mad at themselves. I saw a group of people who were playing their best players in this tournament. And their best players were giving their all. Unlike some MLS teams in the US Open Cup, playing their B team. It wasn't going on during this CONCACAF Caribbean Championship run. Teams were playing their best players. Their best players were on the field. And they were giving full effort. Unlike Cincinnati giving up 5 goals in the US Open Cup. Unlike Dallas blowing a 2-goal lead with less than 5 to 10 minutes to go in the match. That kind of stuff was not going on in this game. I mean, during this tournament, during this entire tournament. Most of these teams didn't even have a big lead because these games were just so competitive. These games were so competitive that a lot of these games went down to the wire. You didn't see a lot of these teams playing their B team like the LA boys have been doing, like LAFC and LA Galaxy playing their B team in the US Open Cup, a tournament that's more prestigious than the MLS regular season, but I'll get on that on the next monologue. The reason why it's a good thing for Haiti to win the Caribbean Championship, not only this year, but they also won last year. So they won 2 years in a row. The reason why it's a good thing for them to win, because it brings more highlights. It shed more light on what the country has been going through as a whole. Let me tell you something. Now, I'm not about to get spiritual or religious here, but this can't be by coincidence that Haiti won the Caribbean Club Championship around the same time that the New York Times released its report on what France did to the country and how France have limited the country from growing. If you have not subscribed to the New York Times, if you are not following Vice News on YouTube, New York Times and Vice News, those are the 2 major outlets you should be following right now. If you haven't done so, I encourage you to do so today. It is not by coincidence. This has to be some kind of divine intervention where Haiti won the CONCACAF Caribbean Club Championship. And the New York Times have released the report on how France have limited the country from growing in the past century. This is not by coincidence. Last year, Haiti's club Cavalier AS won the championship, but their visas were denied by the U.S. Embassy, by the American Embassy. I don't know why their visas were denied by the American Embassy, but Haiti's Cavalier AS was supposed to go against New England in one of the rounds of this year's 2022 Concacaf Champions League. But their visas, the Haitians, their visas was denied by the American consulate. Now, no detail was given onto why those visas were denied. We don't know if Haiti applied for the visas too late, or there must be some kind of, if there's some kind of miscommunication between the Haitian government and the American government, or because America has a strong relationship with France, maybe that has something to do with it. We don't know. But one thing I do know this year, that this time around, all of us are going to be we're going to be paying close attention. We're going to pay close attention to see what goes on this year. Because I believe that football is the sport that will bring healing to that country. I believe that football is the sport that's going to resurrect the country and give the country some kind of hope. That's what I believe. So we don't know why the Haitians were denied visas to play against New England in the past CONCACAF Champions League that took place. But this year, not this year, but the next one in 2023, the next CONCACAF Champions League, when Violet is set to play. I'm not sure what round they will enter in. It may be the quarterfinals, I believe, but I'm not really sure. But I'm sure they're going to be in a situation where they might play another MLS team again. That might be the case. But for 2023, from now until 2023, we're definitely going to be paying close attention now. Because, there wasn't even a big news report about why the Haitians' visas were denied by the American consulate. But this time around, we're going to be paying close attention. The New York Times is going to be paying close attention. And there's no doubt in my mind that Vice News is going to be paying close attention. So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens this time around. And that Haitian club, Cavalier AS, they were sanctioned by CONCACAF. So because they were sanctioned and punished by CONCACAF, it looks as if they were in the wrong. It looks as if the Haitians were in the wrong. But based on what I read from the New York Times this week about how the French have limited that island from growing in the past century, I now question the CONCACAF sanctions. And I'm not really sure if CONCACAF was really right and justified in what they did. Anyhow, we're all paying attention to this Violet situation. And we're going to see what happens this time around. Because what everybody did to the Haitians last time, they're not going to get away with it this time. Because we're paying close attention. Now, for those of you who don't know much about the Caribbean Club Championship, the Caribbean Club Championship is it's very prestigious. It's like the winner, like every Caribbean country participates in this. Every Caribbean club participates in this. And the winner of this Caribbean Club Championship, they got an automatic spot in the CONCACAF Champions League. So they'll have an opportunity to play against MLS and Liga MX clubs. And this past weekend, Violet AC of Haiti, they beat Cibao. They beat Cibao of the Dominican Republic. And this was huge. Like, Dominican Republic is basically the face of the Caribbean. I know you got Jamaica and you got the Bahamas, but DRC, that's the country where everybody's going to for their vacations right now. And yes, there's Puerto Rico also, So as of right now, it seems as if Dominican Republic is the face of the Caribbean islands. So this was huge. This is huge. And I don't believe that, I mean, I'm not sure if the Haitians and the Dominicans have a, clean relationship with each other. But so I know this was huge. And also, there's a $50,000 prize money. There's a $50,000 prize money. So Violette AC of Haiti wins $50,000. And now the big question right here, could football be the sport to restore Haiti? You can't trust politics. You cannot trust the politicians because the politicians, they're always in a position where they have to react based on the actions of the French. The Haitian politicians are always in a position where they have to react based on the actions of American bankers. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to subscribe to the New York Times. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to subscribe to the New York Times. So you can't trust the politicians. The politicians are in a lose-lose situation. So that's why football's going to have to be the sport. Football's going to have to be the sport to restore the country. And Concacaf in general, they have to do a better job. Concacaf, you have to do a better job in realizing your role, in realizing your importance. Given such fierce punishment on Cavalier AS the way you did, that's uncalled for. The fierce punishment you gave to that Haitian club, Cavalier AS, that's uncalled for. Because Concacaf, you know what that country is going through. You know the struggle that country is going through. So Concacaf, you got to understand your importance. You got to understand that you have a bigger role to play. It's not only about football. It's not only about generating revenue for football. When it comes to certain countries, when it comes to this country in particular, Concacaf, you have a bigger role to play. It's not only about business. It's about restoration. It's about restoration. Reviving people, reviving hope in a country that just needs some sign of hope. It's not only about business. So that's what I'm saying. This time around, we are paying close attention to see if Violette will get their visas in time for the 2023 Concacaf Champions League. We're going to pay close attention. And Concacaf, you need to make sure they get their visas in time for the 2023 Concacaf Champions League. It's your job to help them, Concacaf. This is not only about business. You're restoring an economy. You're restoring a country. You're restoring a nation. So it's not only about business, Concacaf. So Concacaf, that's your homework. That's your job. Make sure that Violette AC have their visas in time for the next Concacaf Champions League. We need to see Haiti in the next Concacaf Champions League. This is bigger than football. You are restoring a nation. You are restoring a group of people. You are giving them some kind of hope. So you, Concacaf, you have to be the big brother. You may not want to be the big brother. Oh well, you have to be the big brother, Concacaf. You have to be the stepfather. You have to treat Haiti like your adopted son, Concacaf. Moving forward, for the rest of this year, we are going to pay close attention to see how this Violette team is going to be treated. And Concacaf, you have to be the stepfather. You have to be the big brother. Make sure Violette, all the players, the coaches, whoever is connected with this team, make sure that they have their visas and whatever else they need to participate in the 2023 Concacaf Champions League. You make sure they have it. That's your job, Concacaf. Because Concacaf, you have to realize that this is bigger than football. You are restoring countries, Concacaf. You are bringing hope to people, Concacaf. People who don't know hope exists. That's what you're doing, Concacaf. Concacaf, you have the opportunity to not only restore countries and to revive countries, but you have the opportunity to create a football giant, a football monster. Look, the state of football is already improving in America. It's already improving in Canada. It's already been good in Mexico, and Mexico is going to continue to get better. But you also got Central America and the Caribbean, Concacaf. Concacaf, you can really create a football giant that will turn into legitimate rivals to Europe and South America. But in order for that to happen, Concacaf, you have to realize that your role is bigger than football. You are reviving and you're restoring nations. So Concacaf, what you did to the other Haitian team, do not do it again. Don't do that again. Make sure this Violette team is your job, Concacaf. Make sure this Violette team have their visas ready for the 2023 Concacaf Champions League. You make sure it happens because this is bigger than football.
Rolling up blood on the highway. Oh, that I mentioned it's mind strain. I ain't got time for the mind games. You're giving me brain like a migraine. You can look, but you can't find me. I lace up my boots in the night cell. Might as well. Serving that shit to my clientele. Might as well. We all a product of try and fail. I got the dope, it's a fire sale. I hit the booth and leave fire trails. I got that shit to make iron melt. Trying to get rich, he is Lionel. Rolling my doja, fuck how you feel. I'm from Chicago, it's been a drill.